Let's take a look at all the manga, anime, and figures that I bought throughout the month of September 2023. October is like 2/3 over, and that means that it's of course time for me to be late in presenting my September haul to y'all. And I didn't intend for this to come out as late as it did, but you know, things happen. I just kind of shifted the videos around on my schedule. But anyway, let's get into it. I've got a lot of stuff to show this time, and I did have not just manga, but also anime and figures. As always, I'm gonna start off by doing all of the new release manga, and then I'm going to go from like the publishers that I have the least amount to the one that I have the most amount of. And this time, a certain publisher wins by a landslide. So let's jump on into some of the publishers I have like 1 or 2 books from. All right, so let's start off with this eclectic little stack of books that I have a bunch of 1 or 2 volumes from each publisher. First off, we have from One Piece Books, It Takes Two Tomorrow 2. This one, they sent me a copy of this one a little bit early, and I really enjoyed it. I posted a video on both TikTok and Instagram about it, so you can check it out over there, the Omnibus Collector on both platforms. This is just kind of a wholesome, chill, low-key, like romantic comedy type series, except unlike a lot of the romantic comedies that you wind up seeing and wind up being pretty popular, this one is not about high schoolers, it's about young adults, which makes it a lot more relatable for people around my age. So if you are around 30-ish years old, the 2 characters here are 25 and 28, and it's just them dealing with, you know, little cute things, little arguments they might have with each other. They've been dating for a little over a year, but they just moved in together a month or 2 ago, so they're going through this transitionary period of their relationship, and it's really cute. I really enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to reading more. Very much not the same as that from Tokyopop. We have We Can't Do Just Plain Love Volume 2. This one, there's a reason why I'm covering part of the cover. Anyway, from Dark Horse, we've only got one, Imenon Volume 4. This is the final volume of the Imenon series. They do have another series, I forget the title of it, coming out from the same creator, I think sometime next year. It was recently announced. So it looks like they're doing well to go through that creator's bibliography. They need to reprint, what was it called, Wandering Island Volume 1 though. I'm with all of y'all who have been waiting for that reprint. Then from Ablaze, we've got Terror Man Volume 1. This one is pretty good. I enjoyed the first volume pretty well, but especially with like webtoon type stuff, it usually takes like 2 or 3 volumes for me to really get into it, because sometimes the plots start off a little bit slow. But so far it's interesting, and I'm looking forward to continuing to see how that goes. Then we have a couple books from Glacier Bay Books. First is Mii-chan Volume 1. I know this is a really tiny volume. This is the latest in the Sleepy Child series of books, so all of these are like about little anthropomorphic cats, just cute little stories. And then the second book I have from Glacier Bay is Give Her Back to Me. This one's really good, and I really enjoyed the design of this one. I love the way it looks like a classic shoujo book, but it's all in English rather than in Japanese. That's the same, is it Ribbon Comics, I think? It does the same, someone will correct me if I'm wrong, does the same trade dress, except it's red and blue instead of purple and green. Then we've got 2 books from Square Enix. First up, Demons of the Shadow Realm Volume 2. This is the new one from creator of Fullmetal Alchemist, Hiromu Arakawa. So if you enjoy Fullmetal Alchemist, I was gonna say and Silver Spoon, but like this is very much not like Silver Spoon. This is a lot more like FMA. But yeah, check this one out if you're a fan of hers. It's a great action series. So far. A Man and His Cat Volume 9 is the other one I got from Square Enix. And then moving on to Denpa, we've got Heavenly Delusion Volume 6. I think this is material after the first season of the anime, if I'm not mistaken. So if you watched the anime and you want to keep going with this, you're going to want to pick up Volume 6, maybe Volume 5. I don't know, I haven't seen the anime, so I can't speak for that directly. Also from Denpa is Vampires Volume 3, and then one more that's like kind of from Denpa, but they very humorously labeled this from Faku because of the fact that what I was told when I asked why they did that, and this is Nana and Karu Omnibus Volume 3 out of 6. but the reason I was told that they labeled it from Faku instead of Denpa was because they had already arranged the deal to have it carried by retailers like Barnes & Noble, and thought it would be really funny to have a Faku book on Barnes & Noble shelves. I think that is very funny indeed, because they succeeded, and so now that's the only Faku book that you'll see at a Barnes & Noble. If you know, you know. And then finally, out of this stack from Drawn and Quarterly is my picture diary. This one is a lovely little illustrated look at the life of the mangaka and you know, things that were going on throughout a certain difficult year of hers for her husband and their child. Anyway, that's the first stack. The second stack is going to be my 7 Seas books, so let's go ahead and grab those. I lied, second stack is actually Yen Press, so let's go ahead through those. My new Yen Press, like pre-release books they usually send me haven't come in for this month. There was some sort of issue they emailed me about, so I do have, there's a lot of like new volume 1s that I don't have that I would typically have at this point, but those will probably be in my next haul, the October haul. Anyway, Handyman Saito in Another World Volume 2. This one is absolutely fantastic. If you are a fan of, like, I just recently, like earlier this year, got into Dungeons & Dragons, and this is like the perfect type of series if you're into Dungeons & Dragons. I absolutely love it. It's a great comedy series. It has a lot of the tropes and stuff of like character classes and races and stuff like that. Really interesting. Manner of Death Volume 2 of 2 volumes. So this was only a 2-volume like mystery series. I still haven't finished the first volume, but the first 2 chapters were interesting enough that I was like, yeah, I'm gonna pick up that second volume, and it helped that it was only 2 volumes long in total. Mieruko-chan Volume 8, fantastic fun series if you're into like low-key horror stuff. This is really great. It starts out very comedic if you're unfamiliar with it, but then it does kind of develop an ongoing plot as it goes forward, and it's a little bit more entrenched in the plot now than it was at the beginning of the series, but it's still really great. No Longer Heroine Volume 4. I think this is a 10-volume total series. This is a fantastic, hilarious shoujo rom-com series. I've explained it on here before, but just in case you've never heard of it, you've never heard me talk about it, the main character thinks that she is the main character of her story, and she finds, like, basically what I mean by that is she thinks that in her world she is the protagonist, and anything that she wants is going to happen to her. She's going to be the one that ends up with the guy of her dreams, whether she tries or not. But then all of a sudden the guy of her dreams winds up dating someone else, and this completely wrecks her perception, thus No Longer Heroine. It's hilarious, like the way that she just kind of like reacts to everything. As you can see, like from the background, it's got this really funny face that she makes. A lot of really funny art throughout of her reactions in particular to stuff. It's great. I really enjoy it. If you want a very comedic, like a rom-com heavy on the com, No Longer Heroine's gonna be for you. Shy Volume 4, I haven't read this one yet, but I've really been enjoying this superhero manga. The anime just started up recently, so I haven't watched the anime, but if you have enjoyed it, you can pick up the manga. The first 4 volumes are out from Yen Press. And then Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop Volume 2 of 3. This one, I think the movie is based on the light novel, and I think it's originally a light novel. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think originally a light novel, and then the movie and the manga were based off of that. And so, yeah, I've been reading this one. I haven't finished Volume 1, but I've enjoyed what I've read thus far. Here's one that I absolutely have loved is The Horizon by JH, the same creator as The Boxer. This one's basically, it's like a manhwa version of Cormac McCarthy's The Road. So if that sounds interesting to you, this is definitely something for you to pick up. But if you don't want something that's like extremely depressing, don't pick it up, because it is exactly that. You think you know JH's artwork from The Boxer. The artwork that is in The Horizon is very, very starkly different than what he presents in The Boxer. I think it's only 3 volumes long. I could be wrong, but nonetheless, it's a great series, and I'm loving it. Next up, we have Magical Girl Incident Volume 2. Here's another one where I still need to finish the first volume, but I really love the concept. The guy like transforms into a magical girl randomly, one day, and I thought it was a really great concept, so I decided, like, even though I still haven't finished that first volume, that I'm gonna pick up the subsequent volumes. And here's one that I absolutely adored the first volume of, and that is The Witch and the Night Will Survive. The first volume, specifically the first chapter, was one of the best things I had read in a while. Unfortunately, this one was only 3 volumes long, so this is the second out of 3 volumes, and I haven't read the second volume yet, but I loved the entirety of the first volume, and I don't care, canceled or not, whatever happened, I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy the rest of the series, and I'm gonna go to bat for it. I'm gonna talk about it and stuff. I'm gonna talk it up as much as I can to make sure that more people read it. So that's it from Yen Press. Next up, we have the 7 Seas pile. All right, first up is Ayakashi Triangle Volume 5. This one recently wrapped up in Japan. I don't know what the total number of volumes are, but it's probably close to the halfway point with this volume. Next up, we have Kimono Jihen Volume 7. This one's been a really great, like, yokai-focused shonen action title. So if you're into yokai and stuff, this is definitely one to pick up. Kiruru Kill Me Volume, what is this, 5? Yeah, 5. Shonen action comedy series. This one's been a lot of fun as well. It is a little bit, there's a little bit of fan service in there as well, so just keep that in mind. But I know a lot of people are not just fine, but really enjoy that. I say keep that in mind for the people who are not fans of fan service. Yakuza Reincarnation, this is the only, like, older volume that I picked up this month. Like, it didn't come out in the month of September, but it was out of stock, and 7 had come out. So I got 6 and 7. I need to still catch up with that one, but my friend Gio, whom I host, he's my co-host over on the Omnibus Collectors Network YouTube channel. He's really into that one, so got that. Killing Stalking Volume 4, I was originally under the impression that Volume 4 was the final volume because I'd read it online somewhere, and I found out that it's like only halfway done. So there's still a lot more Killing Stalking. Ladies on Top Volume 4. Ladies on Top means exactly what you might think it does for a rated 17+ title, but it is pretty wholesome. It's a really endearing relationship between the 2 characters. It's a very enjoyable romance title. And then the Soloist in the Cage, this was a Jump Plus title. It's only 3 volumes long, absolutely fantastic. Volume 1 was incredible, Volume 2 was great as well. I cannot wait to see how it wraps up. And then here's a final volume. I haven't gotten to wrap it up yet, but Volume 4 of the Girl from the Other Side Deluxe Editions. This collects the last 2 volumes plus the extra volume that was published, I think, earlier this year. It wasn't a 12th volume, but it was like, you know, it had some extra stuff in it. This series is great if you are into fantasy at all. Somewhat dark fantasy, not like to the level of Berserk dark fantasy, but, you know, somewhat dark fantasy. This is something that you need to pick up, and these hardcovers are absolutely gorgeous. The presentation of these, if these were the same trim size as Dark Horse's deluxe hardcovers for, like, Berserk, Blade of the Immortal, and Hellsing, this would hands down be the best looking volume of manga that I own. I mean, it still is, it's just the trim size would make it even better, because I love giant sized manga. Now, that's my 7 Seas pile. Let's move on to my Kodansha pile, which is the second largest pile of today, but you will see what I meant earlier when I said that the number 1 pile is like, it significantly more than what I got from Kodansha. Like, honestly, Kodansha versus 7 Seas, it was like the difference of a single volume of height on my pile. Anyway, starting up, we have the 3 new DC Comics manga put out in conjunction with Kodansha. First up is Batman Justice Buster. This might have been, I don't know, I enjoyed both this one and the third one that I'm gonna show a lot for different reasons, and the middle one I thought was okay. But this one's really cool. It's from the same creators as the Ultraman manga that Viz publishes right now. So if you're enjoying that one, definitely pick this up. It has kind of the same flavor, but it definitely feels like a Batman book. It kind of feels like a Elseworlds Batman book, like something that DC would probably publish as a non-continuity miniseries, but it is really, really good. And the artwork in this reminds me a lot of like Jock's artwork in his Batman books. It's great. I highly recommend it if you're a fan of Batman, and you know, whether you're a big fan of the Batman comics or not, and you just want to read some Batman stuff. That is a really excellent one to check out. The second one, the one that I didn't enjoy nearly as much, was the Joker one, Operation Joker. This is the one that I knew about before it was solicited, and a lot of people did, because it's the one where Batman turns into a baby and the Joker decides to raise him. And it is funny, but I don't know, it was not nearly as good as this one as the other ones. Like it's funny, but the third one, Superman versus Meshi, was way funnier, way more clever in the way it was written, and I loved this one so much. This one is about Superman on his lunch breaks will take the time to fly to Japan and eat at Japanese chain restaurants. And it is so funny. It's so well done. A lot of great humor in there. A lot of great like references to DC Comics in general. If you're a fan, even if you're not, like if you're a fan of DC Comics, pick it up. If you're not a fan, but you're a fan of like gourmet manga, pick it up as well, because it does gourmet perfectly. Then we've got a final volume, Lovesick Ellie Volume 12, Volume 4 of Shaman King Flowers. I'm just trying to speed along with these. Welcome Back Alice Volume 5. I think 6 or 7 is the last one. I know that wrapped up recently, as well as Blood on the Tracks. They both wrapped up around the same time. Volume 6 of Fire Force in the omnibus editions. This should be the halfway point. There should be 12 total omnis, with the last 2 just being 2-in-1s rather than 3-in-1s. Shonen Note Boy Soprano 5. I think there's 8 total for this one. Windbreaker Volume 2. I really love the first volume. I haven't read the second one yet, but if you've been itching for some new delinquent manga, and we don't get a ton of delinquent stuff released in the US, but this kind of scratches that itch, so I do recommend that. And then, of course, Witch Hat Atelier Volume 11. It's been a while since we had a new volume, so it's always cause for celebration to get a new volume of Witch Hat. So that's it. That's everything for Kodansha. Now my Viz Media stack is insane, so let's check it out. These are all new releases, by the way. Like, I don't know how Viz had so many more new releases coming out that I picked up than the other publishers, but here we are. Where do I want to move this? I'm gonna move the stack right here and we'll move them off. Okay, let's go through this pretty quick. Volume 5 of the Animal Crossing New Horizons manga. Volume 6 of Pokemon Adventures X and Y. This is the final volume of X and Y, and we have Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire coming next, which should just be 2 volumes, so we'll get to Sun and Moon pretty quickly. The final volume of My Love Mix-Up, Volume 9 from Shoujo Beat, and then a new Shoujo Beat series, Tomon's B-Side, Volume 1. I haven't read this one yet, but I've heard a lot of really great things. I'm probably gonna read it this weekend. Call of the Night, Volume 13. We're looking at the Shonen Sunday books now. Case Closed, Volume 88. Fly Me to the Moon, Volume 19. Hayate the Combat Butler, Volume 42. Then Helk, Volume 5. Komi Can't Communicate, 27. Mao, Volume 13. So that was all of the Shonen Sunday stuff. And then from Shonen Jump, we have Akane Banashi, Volume 2. Chainsaw Man 12, finally returning. The beginning of Part 2 is available physically. And Dandadan Volume 5, fantastic series. If you're a fan of Chainsaw Man, you'll enjoy Dandadan. It's just a little bit more ridiculous than Chainsaw Man is. Dark Gathering Volume 3, this one has been a great kind of shonen horror action series. Kaiju number 8, Volume 8. Very excited to reach that landmark of Kaiju number 8, Volume 8. I was also super excited back in the day when we got Eye Shield 21, Volume 21. So yeah, Mashal Volume 13. This one's almost done. I don't remember how many volumes total it has. Moriarty the Patriot Volume 13. My Hero Academia Vigilantes Volume 15. This one is done. One Punch Man Volume 26. And then we have a couple of like guidebooks. We have the Demon Slayer Core Record book. This one has some manga material in there as well that's not available elsewhere. So if you're a big fan of Demon Slayer and you care about having as much of the manga as you can, grab that one. And then Spy Family Eyes Only. So 2 of those info books came out. And then from the Viz Signature line, we get Alice in Borderland Volume 7. Volume 9 will be the last of those. Insomniac's After School Volume 13. I think this one recently wrapped up in Japan. I don't know how long it is going to be though as far as volumes are. Until I Love Myself Volume 2 out of 2. Volume 1 of the Dracula Midnight Children hardcovers from Shinichi Sakamoto. This one is absolutely stunningly beautiful. Like one of the most beautiful books. I recommend checking it out if you're a fan of horror stuff or just really good artwork. Yeah. Volume 10 of Fist of the North Star. I think that's gonna be 17 or 18 total, I forget. I always forget with Fist of the North Star if it's 17 or 18. World Peace Volume 3. Volume 4 of this Viz original I think is the last one. And then also Viz original Betwixt. This one is 6 horror short stories. 3 of them are from Japanese creators, 3 of them are from American creators. And the Japanese stories, like you open it up from this side, and then once you reach the middle of the book, it says flip it to the back cover and start reading the American stories. It's a pretty cool design for that volume itself. And the stories themselves are pretty good too. I enjoyed them. All right, so we're done with all of the manga. I didn't have any older releases this month except for that one Yakuza book that I had shown earlier. So I'm not gonna go through like older things that I picked up, but I do have anime and some figures to show. But before then, a quick word from the sponsor of our video, Walt's Comic Shop. They've been sponsoring my videos for several months now, and you know, the reaction that I've had from people has been really good, so I'm really happy to have them still working with me. Walt's Comic Shop is a store that has a brick and mortar location out in Berlin, Germany. However, they also do a lot of online retail. So you can buy, if you are located in the EU, they are gonna be one of the best places, if not the best place for you to shop for all of your new manga, as well as if you wanna get into reading Western comics like Marvel, DC, etc., they are a fantastic place for you to shop for all of those too. They have great pre-order prices, incredible packaging, amazing customer service. You can go on to look at reviews online that people have left for Walt's Comic Shop, all super positive. And if it's your first time shopping with them, you can use the code TheOmnibusCollector and get free shipping within the EU on your first order of 40 euro or more. So definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop. If you go into the brick and mortar store in Berlin, say hi and let them know that the Omnibus Collector sent you. So thank you once again to Walt's Comic Shop for sponsoring my channel and sponsoring these videos. Let's move on to the next section of the haul. All right, so in September, I only got 2 new anime releases, but they're pretty fun. The first one is this Go Nagai World. It's a OVA, 3-episode OVA series. I think it's an OVA. With a bunch of Go Nagai characters, like the characters from Devilman Lady, characters from like Mazinger and stuff, and a bunch of other characters that Go Nagai had created throughout his life, coming together in this kind of chibi crossover thing. I haven't watched it yet, but I really enjoyed Go Nagai. I enjoy his works and his creations, and it was, you know, relatively cheap, so I wanted to check it out, kind of keep my Devilman collection complete, I guess. And then that was from Discotek. From Sentai, we've got Lupin Zero. This is the newest Lupin release. If you know me, you know that I buy as much Lupin as I can. And we're close to having everything released now, available in English. So this is a more recent ONA, original net animation, 6 episodes total that highlight the youth of Lupin when he was a young child. And not only do we have the 3rd, but we also have his father, the 2nd, and his grandfather, Arsène Lupin, the 1st, are highlighted in this one. So this is really cool to see this come out from Sentai. I'm glad that they put it out relatively quickly. There was another ONA series, the Lupin Cat's Eye crossover, that hopefully also gets a physical release soon as well. So that's it for the anime, and now I have 4 figures to show. So we're gonna switch into like POV mode on my camera, and I'll show you all those. All right, so first up is this Denji. This one comes from, I think it's the Figuarts 01. Pretty decent size here. I think in total it was like around $80, which I think is a pretty decent price for the quality of the sculpt on this thing. It's not the largest. There's another that's currently available It was on Right Stuff, so I guess now it's on Crunchyroll store. That was, I think, a little bit bigger, but it wasn't that much larger, and the detail wasn't that much better for the difference in price, because it was like, I want to say at least twice as much, and I was very satisfied with this Denji that I decided to go for. I just need to find a better place to display it, because at the moment I don't really have a good spot for it. But yeah, so there's the first figure for this month. And here are the rest of the figures that I got for this month. These are the re-released Yu Yu Hakusho Artifacts J figures. I've already had, you can see Yusuke in the back over there. I've already had Yusuke for a while. These got re-released a little bit later than him, and I finally picked them up. So we've got in the middle here, Kuwabara. They do have alternate pieces and stuff, so I just have them displayed in this way. These are really nicely detailed. The Artifacts J is also the same maker of like the Yu-Gi-Oh character figures that I have. So I was confident that they were gonna look nice. I love Kuwabara's blade on this one, and the detail of his jacket is just fantastic. I grew up, my favorite character in the gang of Team Urameshi was Kurama, but since then I've definitely grown into more of a Kuwabara guy. But the Kurama is fantastic. Now Kurama also comes with some roses that he can hold, but with an alternate hand. They don't really stay in his hand when it's down like that. But he's got the fantastic rose whip accessory with him. And he also has the his alternate form does have its own figure. I haven't bought that one because I don't think that it was re-released, at least at not the time that I bought these. So once it's available, I'll probably pick it up as well. But this one's great. I think my favorite part about it is the rose whip, which is why I decided to show him with the whip accessory rather than the alternate. And then we've got Hiei. And Hiei, number one, of course, it's funny because of how small he is compared to the others, but his accessories are absolutely fantastic. And you can have him, see, I have there's not a bandage above his eye under his hair, but you can have him with the alternate head that has the bandage around his third eye, and of course with the tattooed arm rather than the actual piece coming out of the dragon on his arm. But these, all three of these plus Yusuke, are fantastic figures. I'm so glad that I picked these up and have these. Now I've had them on display along with Yusuke over there, but I put some other stuff in there in the meantime while I was putting these, doing this video, but I'm happy to have them all displayed together. Anyway, very big fan of these. So that's it for the haul for this time. All right, y'all, well, that was the haul for September. That was everything I picked up. I might have gotten like a shirt or something here or there, but that's all the main stuff that I grabbed. So thank you so much for watching. I hope maybe I could turn you on to some series that you didn't know about or you might have heard of but were a little curious about. That's my biggest hope in these. And I know that I kind of rushed through a lot of the books this time because I didn't want it to be such a huge video. But yeah, I had a decent amount of books that I got this month around. And I've got some reading to do. I've got like about a dozen of those that I need to sit down and go through. Anyway, thank you again for watching. If it's your first time seeing my channel, I'd really appreciate you putting that, clicking that follow button and clicking the bell so you know when I put out new videos. I usually try to get something out every week, but sometimes I do like 3 a month instead of 4. Sometimes I do more. I think the month of October I have more than 4 videos out, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, I hope you'll follow me, and if you are not new to the channel, if you've been here for a while, you know I always appreciate you coming and stopping by and visiting with me and listening to me ramble on about the stuff that I've read or bought or stuff that's coming out. So yeah, thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace out.